Hey guys, Alex Newman here. We are in Titusville, and I'm with Mike Siebel. He is counsel for Abortion on Trial, and they've had some really significant victories in New Mexico, which is, of course, a deep blue state. Mike, thanks for joining us today. So talk a little bit about the sanctuary cities you guys are establishing across the state.
So, starting in July of this past year, Mark Lee Dixon and I started to do sanctuary cities for the unborn, which is a de facto ban on abortions in this situation by making them comply with the Comstock Act. The abortionists, the towns have, in varieties of ways, codified the Comstock Act into their local ordinances so that they can enforce it on a local level, thereby causing a de facto ban for abortion. So one of those cities was Hobbs, New Mexico. And in Hobbs, New Mexico, what had happened is Whole Women's Health had decided to try to move to Hobbs, New Mexico from Texas. Obviously, Texas abortion is banned, but in New Mexico, it's free for all. And they had entered into a contract to buy a building. So Mark Lee Dixon and I got together with Senator David Gallegos and a variety of people in the city of Hobbs. The Right to Life for the Lee County was out there. A couple of the pastors joined us, and we instituted an ordinance in Hobbs to protect the city of Hobbs from any abortionists coming in by making them comply with the Comstock Act in order to get their licensed business inside the city of Hobbs. What happened is Whole Women's Health ended up pulling out of the contract and then looked for a new place, and 5 months later reestablished in the city of Albuquerque, which is 5.5 hours away. So now women from the Odessa, Midland area have to drive an additional 5 hours to get an abortion to the city of Albuquerque rather than having that close-knit city of Hobbs there.
And do you think this is something that could be replicated in other states? I mean, could other states have cities say, abortions aren't going to happen in our city?
Well, yeah, I think it can be. I think that there's going to be some interesting things that come about from this. We had 5 jurisdictions overall, 3 cities, Hobbs, Clovis, and the city of Eunice, and then 2 counties, the only 2 counties in the United States, Lee County and Roosevelt County, which are now sanctuary counties for the unborn, which have de facto bans for abortion. Now, the Attorney General has sued here in New Mexico to say that we shouldn't have these sanctuary cities, and that's going to go before the New Mexico Supreme Court. And then if we lose at that level, it'll go before the United States Supreme Court. So it'll be an interesting development. But I think, states like Illinois, which have, especially Southern Illinois, which has red pockets in a blue state, or Colorado, or even Northern California, or Southern New York, might be places that we could do this all over the country and create the opportunity to see if we can outlaw abortion in every state.
So outlaw abortion like at the local level, even in the deep blue states run by Democrats?
That is correct, and that's what we have in New Mexico, is we are run completely by Democrats, but in a deep blue state, but we have red pockets throughout the state, and we're outlawing abortion in certain cities.
And so looking at the national level now, there are a lot of really red states. In fact, we're sitting in one right now, the state of Florida, where abortion has actually increased since Roe was knocked down. The state has become kind of an abortion tourism destination. How do you get red states to move on this?
Well, I mean, you really have to activate your local legislators to move on this. I mean, in Nebraska, what we did out there is we have a sanctuary city for the unborn in Bellevue, Nebraska, home of notorious late-term abortionist Leroy Carhart. And it has prompted Nebraska to institute and bring forth bills on a fetal heartbeat bill in Nebraska, which I think is now filibuster-proof in their unicameral House. So it's getting the local citizens to really get active in their communities and push their legislators to do something, whether it be at the local level or at the state level. And once you start doing that in the red states, I think we're going to see more and more bans over the next 2 or 3 years.
Fantastic. And how do people learn more about Abortion on Trial?
So abortion on trial has been around for about 7.5 years. We've mainly been fighting the worst abortionist in the history of the world, which I call the history of the world, but it's Curtis Wayne Boyd, who's done 250,000 personal abortions. He was the biggest third trimester provider of abortions. We've sued him numerous times over the years, and he has finally conceded and said, we will do no more third trimester abortions. And you can read all about that on Abortion on Trial. We're on Facebook, on Twitter, even TikTok, and we also have abortionontrial.org. So there's plenty of places to see us. We've got plenty of information out there about third trimester abortions, particularly, but abortion, litigation and malpractice. That's what I do on a regular basis. We have a great team that does these malpractice cases all over the country, and I think you'd be kind of interested to see how bad the abortion industry really is.
Excellent. Mike Siebel, thank you very much for spending some time with us. All right, folks, we'll be back.
As a lumberjack, my job is pretty straightforward. I see the wood, I chop the wood. We even hear crazy ideas on how kids should learn.
Visit thenewamerican.com for real news you can trust.